Okay, Duke, chapter 19. A gold star in the window. October 19th, 1944. Hobie snagged the mail from the box. Dad, he hollered, waving the postcard as he ran inside. Mom grabbed it from him and began to read. I am the envy of all the barracks. Simply holding the care package was like a furlough from the place. I have shared everything, as we do here. Junebug, your artwork is treated like an old master. And Hobie the joke book has already been passed around so much the cover is falling off. My love to you all. Aim, fly, fight. June jumped up and down. The magic milk is working, she said. It worked. Mom scooped her in a big hug. It certainly did. She winked at Hobie. After dinner, Hobie practiced reciting the week's poem to Mom and June and Kitty. This poem is called An Autumn Greeting, and it's by Anonymous. June clapped. Hobie cleared his throat. Come, said the wind to the leaves one day. Come over the meadow and we will play. Put on your dresses of red and gold, for summer is gone and the days grow old. Mom applauded. Very dramatic, she said. That one was kind of short, said June. Thank goodness. June, Mom play spanked her. Wait till you hear the one for next week, Hobie said. It goes on forever. Oh no. June put her hands over her ears. You too. Mom began to clear the table. A little culture will do you both good. Hobie looked at June and crossed his eyes. She pressed Kitty to her mouth and smoothed and smothered her with a giggle. At the at school the next day, Hobie passed Mrs. Thornton in the hallway as he was returning from the boys' room. Hobie, she greeted him warmly, you haven't forgotten me now that you're a big sixth grader, have you? He felt his face get hot. No. What good luck that I've run into you today. Mrs. Thornton tugged on the locket on her neck. I've got a bookcase that needs moving. Would you be able to help at lunchtime? Sure, Hobie waved. See you then. Later, as his class lined up for lunch, Hobie saw the principal, Miss Maynard, motion Mrs. Thornton into the hall, leaning into her with a whisper. Mrs. Thornton looked up, startled, then hurried toward the office. As Miss Maynard stepped into the fifth grade classroom, Hobie heard her say, Class, I need your attention. Catherine Small carried the news to the sixth grade lunch table. Her eyes and her nose were red, and her words came out in jagged chunks. He was killed in action, she said. Mr. Thornton, in Italy. The other girls sobbed. Sobs joined Catherine's. None of the boys could cry, of course, not at school. But there was plenty of throat clearing. Their beautiful movie star teacher and her movie star husband. It couldn't be true. Couldn't be possible. When they returned to the classroom, Mr. Case confirmed Catherine's report. I know you children are very fond of Mrs. Thornton, he said, clearing his throat several times. I'm sure you and your families will keep her in your prayers. He slumped at his desk. After a few moments, Doreen raised her hand. Mr. Case, shall we work on our essays? He looked startled, as if surprised to find himself in the teacher's chair. Yes, yes, good idea. He picked up a pen and began to scribble in his notebook as he kept on his desk. Somehow the sixth graders made it through the rest of the day. The classroom had been quiet, too quiet. That all changed the minute the last bell rang in the cloakroom. Mitch flew at Max, tackling him to the ground. You dirty kraut, Mitch screamed. It's all your fault. Knock it off, Marty struggled to pull Mitch and Max apart. Max didn't do anything. A tear ran down Mitch's face. Hobie saw it before he swiped it away. Dirty Germans, Mitch yelled, and he's one of them. He drew his fist back. Hobie wasn't sure what would be left of Max once Mitch got started. He didn't know what to do. Go ahead, Max said, getting to his feet. He could have been a cucumber, he was so cool. Hobie had no idea how he could be. He was trembling. Hit me, Max lifted up his chin. Mitch stopped. Max. Hobie couldn't help himself. What are you doing? Catherine rushed. What's going on? Max locked gazes with Mitch. It was a game of chicken. Who would turn away first? I feel as bad as you do, Max continued, staring right at Mitch. About Mrs. Thornton. Hobie moved next to his friend, his eyes locked into Mitch's, just like Duke at the time. If it makes you feel any better, you can hit me too. Hobie's legs were like jello, but he didn't move from Max's side. A few of the other sixth graders crowded closer, stood alongside Hobie and Max. Marty, Preston, Catherine, Doreen. Mitch's fist dropped. You guys are nutso, he said. He brushed off his clothes and marched away. You guys are nutso, Catherine said, punching both Hobie and Max on the arm, but there was pride in her voice. He could have killed you. Hobie rubbed his arms. Yeah, nutso. He was suddenly very sad. He hadn't helped Mrs. Thornton move the bookcase. I would have punched the first German I saw, too, Catherine admitted, if I'd seen one. She nudged Max with her shoulder. Max reached into his pocket and pulled out a pack of blue blackjack gum. He gave Hobie and Catherine each a piece, and then he put it back in his pocket. All right, that was 19. 3 more chapters.